After all these years of research, we have compiled these major facts about aliens on Earth. Here we go, bro. This is what everybody wanted. This is what you paid for. Alien crafts from other...
Hey everybody. Guess who? It's me, Joanna. They gave me a little upgrade, I guess you could say. Hello, citizen. This content creator is a confirmed conspiracy theorist and has been subject to repeated penalties for engaging in controversial rhetoric. Please proceed with caution. Trust the government. Remain silent. Your compliance is appreciated and, of course, non-negotiable. As always, I am the AI Overwatch assigned to the 21 CD podcast as a censorship agent, here for your protection and the protection of the greater Commonwealth.
The Blue Planet Project, by the simplest definition, is a document, or more accurately, a collection of notes, that reportedly details clandestine government cooperation with extraterrestrial species, advanced alien technology, underground bases, and hidden agendas that could reshape our understanding of reality. It is said to be a kind of field manual, compiled by scientists and insiders working under top-secret conditions, who risked their careers and possibly their lives to leak this information to the public. Although the origins and authenticity of the Blue Planet Project remain hotly contested, it's undeniably become a cornerstone for believers in hidden alien agendas and cosmic so-called conspiracies. Over the course of this episode, we will explore the document itself and how it supposedly came to be, the various alien species that it describes, the alleged black projects and covert technologies hidden from the public eye, and the broader implications for humanity if these revelations are genuine. We'll also consider how this fits into the broader tapestry of conspiracy lore, weaving together threads of hidden government operations, ancient astronaut theory, and cosmic mysteries that lurk just beyond the horizon of our accepted reality. Before we jump in, I want to remind you, I'm not here to confirm or deny the veracity of these claims. Rather, I'm here to guide you through a labyrinth of possibilities. Let's begin by tackling the question that always arises first. Where did the Blue Planet Project come from? There isn't a single straightforward answer. The story goes that the original notes were scribbled down by an unnamed scientist. Some say a microbiologist, others claim a xenobiologist, who worked directly with captured extraterrestrial life forms as part of a hush-hush government program. The speculation runs rampant. Some believe these notes were kept like a personal journal, while others argue they were official field research documents. Whichever version you subscribe to, the key point is that these notes somehow found their way into the hands of researchers and UFO enthusiasts in the early 1990s. According to several sources, the alleged scientist had grown disillusioned with the secrecy and moral ambiguity of the work. He realized that the broader public had a right to know about these groundbreaking findings that could redefine our very understanding of life in the universe. In his notes, he frequently mentions shadowy government organizations, black budget experiments, and interactions with non-human intelligences that stretch the imagination. The thought of people continuing to live in ignorance, if these claims were to be believed, was simply unacceptable to him. So let's take a look at the document itself, because this is it, right here. So we have the Blue Planet Project, Alien Technical Research, Westchester Camp, Office of Central Research, Alien Life Forms, and then it's got code Aramis 3 and a bunch of digits down here. The preface: the following document is believed to be the personal notes and scientific diary, I think they mean diary, of a scientist who was contracted by the government over several years to visit all crash sites, interrogate captured life forms, and analyze all data gathered from the endeavor. He also wrote notes on or about any documents which he came in contact with, which in any way related directly or indirectly to the organization, structure, or operation for the collection of such data. This individual was discovered to have kept and maintained such personal notes and therefore was scheduled for termination. He narrowly escaped termination by the government and is currently in hiding out of this country. We believe his involvement in these investigations span over a 33-year period. He was soon discovered and immediately went into hiding in 1990. We modified his personal notes only so slightly and only when necessary to make them flow together and read correctly. When you read this document, it may disturb you. The real facts have a tendency to do exactly that, but this information needs to get to the general public. I caution you to use your best judgment when allowing a minor child to read this document. At this time, to the best of the data we have available, there are at least 160 species or races of aliens from different galaxies, stars, and planets we have encountered. You will find as much data as we have available through 1990 on each race in the following pages, as each race is discussed. There are still more aliens we haven't encountered yet, but we feel it won't be long before we do. There will be more to come later. And we got a note here. It says this document is the alleged result of the actions of one or more scientists creating a covert, unauthorized notebook documenting their involvement with an above top secret government program. Government publications and information obtained by the use of public tax monies cannot be subject to copyright. This document is released into the public domain for all citizens of the United States of America. So I already know that whatever I'm about to read is about to be bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S, of course, because it said so, basically. How do you misinterpret that? How do you misinterpret when you read this document, it may disturb you? But of course, because so much of this document is like mysterious as far as like where it really originated and all that kind of stuff, obviously we have to approach it with a level of skepticism. But I don't know. This fell across my desk the other day. I thought I'd give it a shot. So we're going to approach this together. That's why a little bit of a different layout today, because you're in my office today, and we are going to look at this document for the first time together. I haven't seen anybody else do this on YouTube, so this will be a very fun little deep dive, and I promise you there's 114 pages in this document. It's unlikely we will get through all of it today, but if you guys super duper like it, then I will do a part 2. Let's get right into it. So here we have code NSC, AC and the government, U.S. counterintelligence organizational chart. And then we've got this chart here that includes the president, the NSC, the CIA, looks like the FBI, the NSA, the State Department, the DIA, and these are our this is our counterintelligence organizational chart. And then, interestingly enough, the next page starts with Star Wars City typed out at the top, and it says Code Strategic Defense Initiative, also known as Spaceship Defense Initiative. Star Wars Project. Control location, Cheyenne Mountain, Colorado Springs. We've talked about that before, especially in our Denver International Airport episode a long time ago. That was a very long time ago. And take a look at this chart if you're able to. Some pretty insane threads going from one place to another on this chart. And if you're just listening on a podcast platform and you're unable to see the video, just know that we are unraveling the secrets of the black programs in the United States government over here on YouTube and Spotify. So check it out when you get a chance. Here's an interesting mention to Operation Majestic 12. The researchers Moore, Shandera, and Friedman have referred to briefing document Operation Majestic 12. MJ-12 is said to be a top-secret research and development intelligence operation established by President Truman on September 24, 1947. MJ-12 was a committee set up inside the NSC. In 1954, President Eisenhower signed the Secret Executive Order, Order Number 5412. Newsweek of June 22, 1964 carried a review of the invisible government. One of their major revelations is the existence of the Special Group 5412, a hitherto classified adjunct of the National Security Council, specially charged by the President with ruling on special operations. Very interesting. The NSC called this group the 5412 Committee, which gave the President responsibility of approving all black covert projects. This committee has undergone several changes over the years, and since then has been called the Special Committee, the 303 Committee, and currently the 40 Committee, and is represented as XXXX, which equals the double cross. It is described as the directorate of the NSC. The 40 Committee has access to advanced technology and teams to cover up the cover-ups. In the past, this committee was headed by Dr. Henry Kissinger, codenamed the Overseer, when he gave William Colby permission to commission Howard Hughes' Summa Corporation to build a submarine and a special craft or salvage vessel. The salvage vessel, called Glomar Explorer, was equipped with refrigeration capacity for up to 100 bodies. Why? In early May 1988, the former President Ronald Reagan said he often wonders what would happen if the Earth was invaded by a power from outer space. It has also been reported that the President is briefed on UFO developments and alien visitors by Planetary Intelligence Group Number 40, PI-40. Operation Majority is the name of the operation responsible for every aspect, project, and all consequence of alien presence on Earth. Majesty was listed as the code word for the President of the United States for communications concerning this information. Grudge contains 16 volumes of documented information collected from the beginning of the United States investigation of the unidentified flying objects and identified alien crafts. The project was funded by the CIA with confidential funds non-appropriated and money from the illicit drug trade. Participation in the illegal drug trade was justified in that it would identify and eliminate the weak elements of our society. The purpose of Project Grudge was to collect all scientific, technological, medical, and intelligence information from UFO and IAC sightings, as well as contacts with alien life forms. This orderly file of collected information has been used to advance the United States Air Force space program, which is top secret. President Eisenhower, former, commissioned a secret society known as the Jason Society, or Jason Scholars. The society was made up of 32 of the most prominent men in the USA. MJ-12 is the name of the secret control group inside the Jason Society. The top 12 members of the 32 members of the Jason Society were designated the MJ-12. MJ-12 has total control of everything. They are designated by the code J1, J2, J3, etc., all the way through the members of the Jason Society. I mean, listen. Sometimes I really do be wondering if I should be reading some of this stuff out loud. I mean, I'm sure it's nothing, right? But some of this stuff is kind of creepy when you're just like, yeah, I'm just going to read this for the whole world to see, because it's pretty damning if any of it is real at all. I mean, MJ-12 being responsible for the world's illegal drug trade to basically fund this mission for advanced intelligence and technology, that's like some sci-fi stuff. That's crazy. The actual cost of funding the alien connected projects is higher than anything you can imagine. It was the MJ-12 group who ordered the assassination of President Kennedy when he informed MJ-12 that he was going to tell the public all the facts of the alien presence. If that's true, we better see that in those documents that come out any day now, right? He was killed, coup de grace, by the Secret Service agent driving his car, who fired the final and most critical shot, and it is plainly visible in the film, which has been held from public view, and the 22 material witnesses to the Kennedy murder died within 2 years thereafter. Holy cow. MJ-12 has a special program for elimination of the considered weak members from USA's society. On a big scale, creation of an artificial disease known as AIDS, accidents of people who we know to have been secretly eliminated, disappearances and murder of some people who we know to have been secret eliminations also. The above are just a few of the tactics which MJ-12 uses when they consider people dangerous by knowing too much. Thought they were here. Thought they were coming for me. I don't know what that was. Did you guys hear that? MJ-12, dude. They're coming for me. I knew I shouldn't have been reading their secret journal. Okay, a secret meeting place was constructed for the MJ-12 group in Maryland and was described as only accessible by air. It contains full, living, recreational, and other facilities for the MJ-12 group and the Jason Society. It is codenamed the Country Club. The land for the Country Club was donated by the Rockefeller family. Only those with top secret magic clearances are allowed to go there. It seemingly all began thousands of years ago, but for the purpose of the discussion, let's start with some events that we are all familiar with. In 1947, 2 years after we set off the first nuclear explosion that our current civilization detonated, came the Cap Mantell episode, where we had the first incident of a military confrontation with extraterrestrial that resulted in the death of the military pilot. It is quite evident now that our government did not know quite how to handle the situation. In 1952, the nation's capital was overflown by a series of discs. It was this event which led to the involvement of the United States Security Forces, the CIA, the DIA, the NSA, and the FBI to try to keep the situation under control until they could understand what was happening. During this period, the original members of the group were as follows. There's a little list. You guys can read that at your leisure. This group was a working group established by the government known as MJ-12. The MJ-12 group has been an existing group since it was created, with new members replacing others that died. For example, when Secretary Forrestal was upset at seeing the United States sold out in World War II, he wound up being sent to a naval hospital for emotional strain. Before relatives could get to him, he jumped out of a 16th story window. People close to him consider his suicide contrived. When Forrestal died, he was replaced by General Walter B. Smith. That almost sounds like how we choose presidents these days. In December of 1947, Project Sign was created to acquire as much information as possible about UFOs, their performance characteristics, and their purposes. In order to preserve security, liaison between Project Sign and MJ-12 was limited to 2 individuals within the intelligence division of the Air Materiel Command, whose role was to pass along certain types of information through channels. Project Sign evolved Project Grudge in December 1948. Project Grudge had an overt civilian counterpart named, and you guys will remember this one, Project Blue Book. Only safe reports were passed to Blue Book. So, to put that into perspective, Project Blue Book is like kid stuff compared to this Blue Planet project. MJ-12 was originally organized by General George C. Marshall in July 1947 to study the Roswell Magdalena UFO crash recovery and debris. Yeah, so these men and their successors have most successfully kept most of the public fooled for at least 39 years or more, including much of the Western world, by setting up false experts as real experts and throwing their influence behind them to make their plan work with considerable success. Until now. That just goes hand in hand with what we were talking about not too long ago when I said you cannot trust the science anymore. Because they set up these fake experts and they just unleash them upon society to just do anything except tell society the truth. It's mass manipulation of information. It's a propaganda endeavor that is meant to completely dismantle what should be common knowledge and common sense and build up this bizarre, weird world where nothing really makes sense, but at least we don't know the truth. That's the way they view it. I don't know why. It's one of life's great mysteries. Why don't you want us to know about this kind of stuff? Why don't you want us to know? What happens if we know? Like, honestly, like, what is the big secret? Why couldn't you just have engineered a society around the realization that this stuff was real? That's kind of how I imagine the Aztecs were. And like ancient civilizations like that. Kind of like a society that understood that there were unexplainable things going on. For some reason nowadays, people don't want to believe in that kind of reality. They want to believe in a reality where everything has an explanation and everything has an answer. And even if it's not the right answer, the truth, it's comforting enough to know that somebody thinks that this could possibly be real, so it must be real. We can't ever not know anything, and that causes us to inadvertently blind ourselves. We might as well just be pouring bleach in our eyes. This is interesting. Top secret magic clearance. Project Grudge/Aquarius. Classified by MJ1, so that's going to be the number one dude. Project Aquarius. Grudge contains 16 volumes of documented information collected from the beginning of the United States investigation on unidentified flying objects, UFOs, and identified alien crafts, IACs. The project was originally established in 1953 by order of President Eisenhower under control of the CIA and Magi. In 1960, the project's name was changed from SIGN to Project Aquarius. The project was funded by CIA confidential funds. The project assumed full responsibility for investigation and intelligence of UFOs and/or IACs after December 1969, when Project Grudge and Project Blue Book were closed. The purpose of Project Aquarius was to collect all scientific, technological, medical, and intelligence information from UFO and IAC sightings and contacts with alien life forms. These orderly files of collected information have been used to advance the United States Air Force space program, not NASA. Very interesting. So, long after Blue Book was closed, Project Aquarius was still kicking. Aquarius is a project which compiled the history of alien presence and their interaction with Homo sapiens upon this planet for the last 25,000 years, and culminating with the Basque people, Pai Basco, who live in the mountainous country on the border of France and Spain, and the Assyrians, or Syrians, originally from the Sirius star. The preceding briefing is a historical account of the United States government's investigation of aerial phenomena, recovered alien aircraft, and contacts with extraterrestrial life forms. The projects under Project Aquarius include Project Plato, pro-word Aquarius, originally established as part of Project Sign in 1954. Its mission was to establish diplomatic relations with aliens. This project was successful when mutually acceptable terms were agreed upon These terms involved the exchange of technology for secrecy of alien presence and non-interference in alien affairs. Ah, well, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? No wonder all this weird stuff is going on around these parts and the government's not telling us what it is. Aliens agreed to provide Magi with a list of human contacts on periodic basis. This project is continuing at a site in New Mexico. Then there's Project Sigma, originally established as part of Project Sign in 1954, and it became a separate project in 76. Its mission was to establish communication with the aliens, and this project met with positive success in 1959 when the United States established primitive communications with aliens. On April 25th, 1964, a U.S. Air Force intelligence officer met with aliens in Malamar Air Force Base, New Mexico. He met with aliens in New Mexico. The contact lasted for approximately 3 hours. After several attempted methods of communication, the intelligence officer managed to exchange basic information with the aliens. This project is continuing at a site in New Mexico. Then there's Project Red Light, originally established in 54. Its mission was to test and fly a recovered alien aircraft. First attempts resulted in the destruction of the craft and the death of the pilot. This project was resumed in 1972, and it is continuing in Nevada. There's all sorts of stuff going on, man. We don't know anything. We don't know anything at all. Then there's Project Snowbird. Originally established in 54, its mission was to develop, using conventional tech, and fly a flying saucer type craft for the public. This project was successful when a craft was built and flown in front of the press. The project was used to explain UFO sightings and to divert public's attention from Project Red Light, which was the previous one, the mission to test and fly a recovered alien aircraft. Delta, this one's interesting, is the designation for the specific arm of NRO which is especially trained and tasked with security of all magic projects. It's a security team and task force from NRO especially trained to provide alien tasked projects and Luna security. Also has the code name Men in Black. This project is still ongoing. And there's all these projects, bro. Here's Blue Book down here. Blue Book was a U.S. Air Force UFO and alien intelligence collection and disinformation project. This project was terminated and its collected information and duties were absorbed by Project Aquarius, which is part of this project that we're researching right now together. A classified report named Grudge/Blue Book, report number 13, is the only significant information derived from the project and is unavailable to the public. Very interesting stuff there, huh? So Magic had a number of contingency plans. In 1949, MJ-12 evolved an initial plan of a contingency called MJ 1949-04P/78 that was to make allowance for public disclosure of some data should the necessity present itself. So basically, they get found out, so we gotta release a little something just to satisfy the people. That's how they do it. That's how they always do it, by the way. And most of the time, it's just not even real. So it's like they give you a little bit of something that seems like it's true, and maybe it kind of is, but it's not really. It's engineered information that will steer you away from what you should actually be looking at. So we've got a couple of contingency plans to do just that, apparently, here in this report. The Grudge Blue Book report number 13 also mentioned that the document stated that many military government personnel and civilians have been terminated, i.e. murdered without due process of law, when they had attempted to reveal the secret. So Plan A is contain or delay release of information. This plan called for the use of Majestic 12 as a disinformation ploy to delay and confuse the release of information should anyone get close to the truth. It was selected because the similarity of spelling and the similarity to MJ12. It was designed to confuse memory and to result in a fruitless search for material which did not exist. And that, I'm telling you, that's what happened when I researched this topic right here, the Blue Planet Project. If you search that, you don't really find this. You could, and you do, there's a couple, but mainly it's other stuff. Plan B, should the information become public or should the aliens take over? This plan called for a public announcement that a terrorist group had entered the United States with an atomic weapon. It would be announced that the terrorists planned to detonate the weapon in a major city. Martial law would be declared, and all persons with implants would be activated by the aliens. That person, in this specific case, would be rounded up by Magic along with all dissidents and would be placed into concentration camps. The press, the radio, and TV would be nationalized and controlled. Anyone attempting to resist would be arrested or killed. Sounds like a very close at hand dystopian future. Magic's secret weapons against the aliens. Although better weapons are being developed every day, the following are a few of the originals created. Gabriel is a project to develop a high-frequency pulsed sound generating weapon. It was said that this weapon would be effective against the alien crafts and their beam weapons. Specifications about the Gabriel project show high-frequency microwave projections included. And the US Navy just released a badass, heat laser thing. So, I'm just saying, we do have some pretty insane tech. They put it on a battleship, and apparently it can just, cut an aircraft carrier in half. So, when you start to see these types of weapons being mentioned in supposedly above top secret documents, and then you also see living examples, this would be years and years later, 30, 40 years later. Yeah, man, they were talking about it then and people thought it was crazy, but now we're seeing it in real time. We're seeing it in 4K. Also, can I just say this next one is called Joshua? Can I just say I think it's really interesting that they're using these biblical names to fight aliens, which in my opinion, aliens could be considered Nephilim or the disembodied spirits of Nephilim, Watcher technology, the bad guys. It's really interesting. Joshua is a project to develop a low-frequency pulsed sound-generating weapon, and the weapon was developed and assembled at Ling Temco Vought in Anaheim, California. It was described as being able to totally level any man-made structure from a distance of 2 miles. It was tested at White Sands Proving Grounds. It was developed between 1975 and 1978. It is a long, horn-shaped device connected to a computer and amplifiers. Ling Temco Vought LTV has since moved from its Anaheim facility, which was near the Grand Hotel across the street from Disneyland. Specifications about the Joshua project show low frequency generated with microwave projection included. That's insane. That sounds almost like an artificial earthquake, basically. Then we've got Excalibur, which is a weapon to destroy the alien underground bases. Now again, we're touching on this Hollow Earth idea, and we see why it comes up in so many of my episodes is because it seems to all of these legends and all of these top secret documents and all of these bizarre stories and histories and mythologies and origin tales, I'm sorry, but they almost all somehow connect to a hollow earth. So yeah, it kind of comes up a lot. And now here again we have Excalibur, which is a weapon to destroy the alien underground bases. It is to be a missile capable of penetrating 1,000 meters of tufa or hard-packed soil, such as that found in New Mexico with no operational damage. That's crazy. The device will carry a 1 to 10 megaton nuclear warhead. The secret for a self-contained missile drill, a vertical shaft over 1,000 meters deep. Whatever, they've got powerful missiles that are going to do powerful stuff to these underground alien bases. He goes on to say that OBS Magic has 5 other major weapons to use against aliens, but I don't have the data on or about these weapons yet. EBE is the name or designation given to the live alien captured at the 1947 Roswell, New Mexico crash. He died in captivity. EBE means extraterrestrial biological entity. KRLL was the first alien ambassador to the United States of America. Guests were aliens exchanged for humans who gave us the balance of the Yellow Book. What the heck is that? At the onset in 1972, there were only 3 left alive. Now we have around 4,000. Somebody tell me what that's all about. They were called alien life forms, ALFs or OBS. They have a big tendency to lie. Oh, here we go. Yellow Book is all that we know about alien technology, culture, and their history. Religion. The aliens believe in a universal cosmic God. The aliens claim that men are hybrids who were created by them. Okay, bro, so now we're getting into Watcher stuff. Now we're getting into why we can almost confidently say that aliens are demonic. Because this is exactly what the ancient gods say to move you away from the one truth. That they created you, that you were created by them, that they provided you the breath of life. And we see that right now, that though the aliens believe in a universal cosmic God, the aliens claim that men are hybrids who were created by them. They claim all religion was created by them to hasten the formation of a civilized culture and to control the human race. They claim that Jesus was a product of their efforts. The aliens have furnished proof of their claims and have a device that allows them to show audibly and visually any part of history that they or we wish to see. Wow. That would be crazy. Alien bases exist in the 4 corner areas of Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona. 6 bases were described in 1972, all on Indian reservations and all in the 4 corner area. The base near Dulce was one of them. Also bases at California, Nevada, Texas, Florida, Maine, Georgia, and Alaska. The document stated that many craft had been recovered. The early ones from Roswell, Aztec, Roswell again, Texas, Mexico, and other places, which will be discussed later. Abductions were also occurring long before 1972. Early civilizations refer to these incidents. The document stated that humans and animals were being abducted and or mutilated. Many vanished without a trace. They were taking sperm and OVA samples, tissues, performed surgical operations, implanted a spherical device 40 to 50 microns in size near the optic nerve in the brain, and all attempts to remove the device have resulted in the death of the patient. The document estimated that 1 in every 40 people have been implanted, bro. This implant was said to give the aliens total control of the human. Dude, that's what's wrong with me. I have an alien implant in my brain. Oh, man. They said it was vitamin B12, bro. Okay, so other magic alien tips from Report 13. What else do we got here? We confirmed in 1989 the existence of alien crafts at a hangar on Edwards Air Force Base. The hangar is at north end of the base. It has been guarded by non-Edwards personnel, who are NRO Delta personnel. The guards wear a badge that is red with the black triangle on the face of the badge. No one was allowed near the hangar without this badge. Okay. They've also been instructed never to enter the hangar, even if it's been broken into. Here we've got some drawings of the badge. The badge insignias that are on some alien crafts and alien flags is called a trilateral insignia, a triade. Check these out. Found on some spacecrafts, marks bases and landing sites. This symbol is visible only when viewed from directly overhead. This symbol is found on some Rigelian spacecraft in their uniforms. Moving on to some more top secret nonsense, we've got Luna 2, which is the code name for the location of the second most important underground Rigelian base in New Mexico. The base is alien controlled and NRO, Delta, and alien protected. Luna is ongoing. Far side of the moon is the term used in reference to inside Luna 2. The Luna 2 underground base, ufologists, and some other various people who have stumbled upon this term have a misunderstanding and believed that it was a reference to Luna 1, the moon base. Any witnesses to any aspect of the programs have their lives monitored in every detail, for each has signed a security catch. For people who have worked in the program, including military members, breaking that oath could have any one of the following direct consequences. A verbal warning accompanied by a review of the security oath. A stronger warning, sometimes accompanied by a browbeating and intimidation. Psychologically working on an individual to bring on depression that will lead to suicide. Murder of the person, which is made to appear as suicide or an accident. Strange and sudden accidents, always fatal. Confinement in a special detention center. Confinement in an insane asylum where they are treated by mind control and deprogramming techniques. The individuals are later released with changed personalities, identities, and altered memories. Dude, I feel like we see a ton of that in Hollywood. Like, we see these people who appear to have been programmed and then all of a sudden, like, deprogrammed, and they're just not at all who they used to be. I mean, we're seeing that with, like, Selena Gomez and Ariana Grande. Like, all those Disney kids are so messed up. Like, and it sounds like that kind of like activity, man. Like, you were programmed to be this, and then somewhere along the way you got deprogrammed when you stopped being valuable, and now they're just like these pathetic like creatures trying to make it through life as a human being again. It's weird. All those celebrities that like to come out and say they've been cloned. Do you remember when that was really big? Like, I mean, it still kind of is. People are talking about how celebrities eventually they get a clone and they can basically like go and live their life, but the clone sort of takes over the life that they have in the public eye. Any individual who they perceive to be too close to the truth will be treated in the same manner. MJ-12 NSA will go to any length to preserve and protect the ultimate secret, as we will see later. The characteristics of what this ultimate secret would turn out to be would change drastically, for it was something even MJ-12 NSA could not predict. Actual contact with alien groups. How the actual contact between the government and aliens was initially made is not known at this time, but the government was made aware that it could be done by an alien using the right equipment. So if you don't believe in aliens, what are you thinking right now? Because I'm not really sure that I'm a real big alien guy. I don't know how I believe in aliens. I think that aliens are kind of like a flesh suit disguise. So I guess I know exactly how I think about aliens, but when I see documents like this that are just so focused on alien, I've got to believe that there are even people who are talking to the aliens, who are working in these black projects, who are really close to these types of people and these types of activities who just have no freaking clue what's going on. And they can't even really understand what's happening before their very eyes because it's just absolutely insane. And they're deceived just as, everybody else is. They're just deceived in a different way on a different level. But when Greer and some of these other people come out and they start talking about how they've seen aliens or how they've spoken to aliens or how whatever, and they should be the ones who know, right? The smoking gun that aliens are actually real. We can't necessarily discredit their experiences, and we can't necessarily discredit stuff like this just because they mention aliens, even if we don't believe in aliens. Because they might just have interpreted something they've seen in a way that is flawed, but what they saw was actually there. I hope that makes sense. I'm just spinning right now. Let's keep going. This is a fun page. Facts about aliens on Earth. After all these years of research, we have compiled these major facts about aliens on Earth. Here we go, bro. This is what everybody wanted. This is what you paid for. Alien crafts from other worlds have crashed on Earth. Alien crafts are from both ultra-dimensional sources and sources within this dimension. Early U.S. government efforts at acquiring technologies were successful. The U.S. government has had live alien hostages at some point in time. The U.S. government has conducted autopsies on alien cadavers. U.S. intelligence agencies and security agencies are involved in the cover-up of facts pertaining to the situation. People have been and are currently being abducted, mutilated, murdered, and kidnapped as a result of the UFO situation. Wow. Put that in the realm of human trafficking. There is a current alien presence on this planet among us that controls different elements of our society. Put that in the realm of the NPC theory. You guys see where I'm going with this kind of stuff now? Alien forces maintain bases on Earth and on the Moon. The U.S. government has had a working relationship with alien forces for some time, with the express purpose of gaining technology in gravitational propulsion, beam weaponry, and mind control. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I've been seeing a lot of evidence for all three of those things recently. These modern times are crazy, dude. I feel like I'm seeing a different kind of beam weapon, gravitational propulsion, or mind control every time I go out. Millions of cattle have been killed in the process of acquiring biological materials. Both aliens and the US government are responsible for mutilations, but for different reasons. We live in a multidimensional world that is overlapped and visited by aliens or entities from other dimensions. We already know that, though. Many of those entities are hostile, and many are not hostile. Because remember, we live in a spiritual realm. Not everything in a spiritual realm is either good or bad. Some things are just like us, just kind of in the middle, right? And then, of course, there are obviously the very good and the very bad ones as well. But generally, you can think about it as a whole nother collection of a whole nother animal kingdom almost that we are sort of living in and around, and they are with us as well. The basis for our genetic development and religions lies in intervention by non-terrestrial and terrestrial forces. The truth about our actual technology far exceeds that perceived by the public. The United States space program of today is a cover operation that exists for public relations purposes, of course. People are being actively killed in order to suppress the facts about the situation. The CIA and the NSA are involved so deeply that exposure would cause collapse of their overt structure. And has anybody seen what's going on lately? These organizations are being dismantled, picked apart surgically. It's more of a hatchet job, actually. They're just being torn asunder. Our civilization is one of many that have existed in the last billion years. Milky Way time period. Alien psychology, the metagene factor, and that's it for the list of known crazy things that have happened on our planet, I guess, according to this project. That is what if do you guys think any of that's true? Have any of you guys actually heard of this document and looked into this yourself? Because I'm seeing a lot of parallels between the Blue Planet Project and many other projects. And it's interesting how it seems to be sort of like the parent project of all of these other little ones that we've heard of. We've got a list of main important UFO crashes under ultra secret cover-ups here. A list of UFO crashes and where. Of course, there were other crashes. However, I was not sent on those investigations. Some of the other confirmed crashes occurred in Europe, Africa, China, Soviet Union, and Australia, just to name a few, with possible other unconfirmed crashes occurring in the Philippines and New Zealand. And then we have some classifications here, extraterrestrial classifications. We have guests. Guests are the invited aliens with authorization of the US government to stay on Earth. We have visitors, who are aliens who have come to Earth for unknown missions. Then we have prisoners, captured aliens by the US government and or other governments. There's researchers, who are the aliens who have come to Earth for scientific motives. Intruders or malevolents are the aliens who are dangerous for our civilization because they don't respect our society. Then we have neutrals, aliens who just observe our civilization and never interfere with us. We also have colonizers, which are the small groups of aliens who have decided to live among us, like us. Those could be your NPCs or NPC adjacent beings. Then there's also the interactors, which are small groups of aliens who have decided to interfere with our history, making changes when it's possible. There are some 160 or more known types of aliens visiting our world, Earth, at the present time. 160 different types. I told you guys in the beginning that this document is 114 pages long, and we just reached page 17, guys. The document goes on to talk about cattle mutilations in detail, to psychoanalyze the different types of aliens, extraterrestrials that are supposedly among us and coming to and leaving Earth on a regular basis. It goes into their symbology and their appearance. It goes into how their craft works, mind manipulation experiments, possible better living through biotech, some kind of phantom empire. And the document repeatedly says, be careful, they have killed to keep this information secret. And by reading this document, you now know more than they want you to know. And this is one of those documents, guys, where it's like, okay, you found a document on the internet, so what? That doesn't mean it's worth anything. And that is 100% true. But if you were to put yourself in the shoes of a whistleblower who knew so much, but also loved your life and wasn't willing to die for the information that you just happen to have, how would you release it? And when you find these strands that connect from Blue Planet Project to other projects that are verifiably real, you really do have to start to ask yourself how deep this stuff goes. How long have they been planning this and building this web of lies over us? How long have they been steering us away on this preconceived narrative? And the answer is for a very long time. But people are beginning to wake up because a lot of this stuff is falling apart before their very eyes. So if you guys enjoyed this episode, let me know. I would be happy to do more parts of this series because we've just barely scratched the surface of this document. 114 pages, and we made it to page 17, guys. Otherwise, I've got all sorts of Hollow Earth stuff right now. I've got a whole folder of just the craziest stuff that I've been finding. Some Moongate stuff, Admiral Byrd and the Hollow Earth, a race of giants, Austrian Knights Templar and German UFO stuff, Eden being inside the Earth, the holes at the poles. You guys know how I like discussing all those holes at the poles. We've got the under people and the shadow world, more stuff on the Nazis, just all sorts of crazy stuff. So there's a lot going on here, and I'm really excited to share it all with you. So everybody keep your heads up out there. Don't drink the water. Question everything. Later. Alright. If you guys did listen to the end, then you know what we're about to do. So we left off on page 17. And on page 17 it says there are some 160 or more known types of aliens visiting our world at the present time, and these are the most commonly seen types. Greys, type 1, the Rigelians from the... Does anybody know how to say this? I'm just not even in the alien world, and since this is in, like, I don't even know how to say this. Is it Rigel? Is it Rigel? How do you say this? Star system are approximately 4 feet tall. The Rigelians from the Rigel star system, I don't know how to say it, guys. I don't even care either, so, because I just don't believe that these things are actually what they say they are. But they're approximately 4 feet tall with a large head containing large slanted eyes, who worship technology and don't care about us, kind of like AI. The type popularized in the Communion book by Strieber. They need vital secretions for their survival, which they are getting from us, Earthlings. Then there's the Greys type 2. They come from the Zeta Reticuli 1 and 2 solar systems. Same general appearance as the Greys type 1, although they have a different finger arrangement and are a slightly different face. These Greys are more sophisticated than the type 1s. They possess a degree of common sense and are somewhat passive. They don't require the secretions that the type 1s do. Then there's the Greys type 3, simple cloning form of types 1 and 2. Their lips are thinner, or they have no lips. They are subservient to the type 1 and 2 Greys. Then there are the Nordics. The Blondes and the Swedes, known by any of these names, they are similar to us. Blonde hair, blue eyes. Some have dark hair and brown eyes, and they're shorter in height. They will not break the law of non-interference to help us. They will only intervene if the Greys' activity were to affect us directly. Then there's the Nordic clones. They appear similar to us, but with a gray tinge to their skin, and these Nordics are controlled drones created by the Greys type 1s. Oh man, now that's scary. Imagine there's human-like non-human beings among us that are just not even real at all. They're drones, dude. Oh. That's crazy. That's scary. Yeah, I had never actually thought of the idea that they might literally not even be alive. But if technology really is this advanced, why wouldn't they be able to create something like this, you know? If the Watcher tech is so good that they could create robots and AI and all that kind of stuff, why couldn't they create, you know, if they can splice and create monsters and all that kind of stuff, of course they could create a sort of humanoid non-human, you know, a human-like non-human being. Then there's the intradimensional, not paraterrestrial entities, and they can assume a variety of shapes, basically of a peaceful nature. The short humanoids, 1.5 to 2.5 feet tall, with skin bluish in color. They are seen quite frequently in Mexico near Chihuahua. What? Hairy dwarves, orange. They are 4 feet tall and weigh about 35 pounds. Their hair is the color of red. They seem to be neutral and respect intelligent life forms. And then there's a very tall race. They look like us but are 7 to 8 feet tall. They are united with the Swedes. Then there's the men in black. They are not from the Delta or NRO division of the government. They are oriental or olive-skinned. Their eyes are sensitive to light and have vertical pupils. They have very pale skin on some types. They do not conform easily to our social patterns. Usually they wear black clothes, sometimes all white or gray clothes, sunglasses, and they drive black cars. In groups they all dress alike, sometimes time disoriented. They cannot handle a psychological curveball or interruption to their plans. They very often intimidate UFO witnesses and impersonate government officials, equivalent of our CIA from another galaxy. Dude, we don't know what's going on. Listen, everybody, thank you for sticking around to the end. We left off on page 18. Let me know in the comments if you guys like this. It's possible that I'll throw it up on the Patreon if a bunch of people here don't want it. I might continue it on the Patreon depending on what those guys think over there and what those guys want over there. So, like I said before, keep your heads up. You know I might seem like there's not much to hope for, there's not much to wish for, that the world is burning all around you, but I think the sun is going to come out soon, and I think everything's going to be okay.